Welcome to Silent Secrets. Listen carefully. What I'm about to say will piss off a lot of guys. And that's exactly why it's true. Most men get it completely wrong when it comes to women. Not a little wrong. Completely wrong. They treat no contact like a magic trick, a Jedi mind move that automatically makes a woman chase. Reality check, it isn't magic. It isn't a game you win by sitting quietly and waiting for a text. In fact, doing nothing while assuming distance equals desire is the fastest way to dig your own grave. This script rewrites, expands, and sharpens everything in your original message, keeping the same voice, the same blunt truth, but adding the depth, structure, and psychological clarity your viewers need to watch, absorb, and act. Read this as a spoken word script. Punchy when it needs to be, patient when it needs to teach, and ruthless where reality demands it. Use it as your full-length video voiceover. It's designed to capture attention, hold it, and give your audience something practical they can test immediately. Part 1. The setup. Why no contact? Gets misused. Most men treat no contact like a rulebook ritual they read somewhere. They follow it mechanically, go silent for X days, then send the perfect message they found in a forum. But relationships are not algorithms. Human beings are not a sequence of if-then statements. No contact is a tool, not a talisman. Its purpose is not to punish. Its purpose is to reset context, to give both people a chance to reassess value, to create mental space, to stop emotional escalation. But the tool only works when wielded with awareness. And awareness begins with one idea. No contact exposes patterns. It reveals what you care about, how you handle losing access to someone, and whether you can hold your standards without collapsing into performative gestures. If you go silent and do nothing to actually improve your life or leave a positive impression in her mind, silence becomes a mute plea. If you go silent and your last interactions were chaotic, needy, or overbearing, silence won't fix those memories. It will only give them time to harden. So the point is not the silence itself. The point is what you cultivate during it and how you re-enter her life when the moment is right. Part 2. The single most important idea. The right trigger. Here's the controversial nugget that will annoy the forum gurus. Breaking no contact isn't about timing measured in days. It isn't about rituals or checklists. It's about a trigger, a psychological moment when her attention is available and receptive. What is a trigger? A trigger is a shift in her psychology, curiosity, warmth, subtle engagement, or some behavioral change that indicates she's thinking about you in a meaningful way. Not liked your pic thinking, not passive stalking. Real behavioral evidence she's moved mentally toward you. Why this matters. If you break silence before the trigger, you're not being bold, you're being needy. You're waving the white flag and saying, I have no standards. If you break silence the instant you feel lonely, it screams insecurity. Women sense this. They don't need a dating manual to smell desperation. Triggers are subtle. They're not confessions or dramatic texts. They are tiny openings, a warmer tone, a comment that hints at memory, initiating a small interaction in your shared social space, or indirect contact through mutual friends. These indicate her mind is open. Example of a trigger. You've been silent for 3 weeks. You post a story about something you genuinely enjoy. Not a humble brag, just you living a life. She drops a small comment. No way, I used to do that. Not a long message. Not an I miss you, just curiosity. That curiosity is a window. That's your moment to re-enter, lightly, confidently, and without pleading. Part 3. Mistakes men make, and why they destroy momentum. Let's cut through the usual garbage and list what most guys do wrong, and why it blows everything up. Breaking for the wrong reasons ego. Boredom, loneliness, and impatience kill strategy. If your reason to reach out is, I can't stand the silence, that's not a reason. That's a reaction. Long explanatory messages. I just want to explain, is the kiss of death. Explanations are attempts to win emotional sympathy with words. Women respond to emotional alignment and cues, not long rationalizations, forgetting what you left behind. If your last interactions were dramatic, needy, or emotionally volatile, No contact can't retroactively remove that baggage. You left a record. You need to earn curiosity again. Overinterpreting social media likes and views aren't signals. Men turn small data into narratives, then act on those narratives. Don't. Look for behavior that suggests attention, not passive scanning. Using no contact as punishment. Silence is not a weapon. If you think silence is punishment that will coerce her feelings, you're on the wrong track. Punishment creates resentment, not attraction. Rushing when you see a signal. A subtle sign does not entitle you to a full emotional comeback. Respond with proportionate energy, light, confident, non-needy. Failing to grow, no contact is a test of you, not of her. If you do nothing to improve your emotional toolkit, no contact becomes wasted time. Ego-driven timing. I've waited enough is not a strategy. Timing is not entitlement. It's observation. These mistakes turn strategy into superstition. Fix them by focusing on signals and internal work. Part 4. What women react to and why. Women are human beings responding to emotional cues. If you want to understand how to re-enter, study these 3 axes. Emotional state. Is she calm, stressed, emotionally available? If she's busy, stressed, or distracted, your message won't land. Contextual fit. Does your re-entry make sense in the story of her life? If you are a cause of drama, your message needs to feel stabilizing, not excitable. Signal strength. Small signs, a warmer reply, initiating a small interaction, matter more than spectacle. Women respond to consistency, calmness, and subtle demonstration of value. Not statements of value, demonstrations. How you show up in small ways matters. Practical examples of signals that matter. She comments on a story with something personal, like a memory or inside joke. She reaches out via a mutual friend to ask about you. She subtly engages with your posts with a different tone than before. She sends you a neutral message that requires a gentle, confident response. If you see these, you may have a window. Part 5. How to break no contact. Step by step.
With scripts. This is tactical, but please read it as strategy disguised as tactics.
Use only when the trigger exists. Principles before scripts. Keep it short. Keep it light. Don't explain. Show value through calm energy. Avoid needy punctuation. Emojis that beg or qualifiers. Scenario A. She comments on your story with a curious line, her comment, "Wow, never knew you were into rock climbing." Your reply, text or DM, "Yeah, been loving it lately. You ever tried it?" Why this works. It's curious, invites shared experience, and doesn't beg. Scenario B. She uses an inside joke in a comment. Her comment, "Still think you owe me coffee for that time." Your reply, "True. I'm not forgetting. When are you free to collect?" Why this works. Assumes value, frames the meet as casual and confident. Scenario C. She messages something neutral after long silence. Her message, "Hey, hope you're doing okay." Your reply, "Doing well. Been busy with short activity. You?" Why this works. It's calm, non-needy, and turns the spotlight back to her. Scenario D. She reacts warmly after a while. Her action, a warmer tone in conversation or slightly longer replies. Your reply, mirror warmth lightly. Noticed you've been into topic. That's cool. Why? You match energy and stay composed. Messages to absolutely avoid. I miss you. I was wrong. Please talk to me. Too much. Begging. We need to talk about what happened. Sets up an emotional battle. Long paragraphs of justification or self-flagellation. Timing nuance. When you reply after a trigger, respond within a reasonable window, not instantly, not sluggishly. Be human. Immediate robotic timing feels staged. Waiting too long looks evasive. Part 6. The inner game. Fixing yourself. During no contact, No contact is the test of discipline. Use it. What to work on. Habits. Build routines. Gym, learning, work, hobbies. Live your life visibly, not to prove anything to her, to prove to yourself. Boundaries. Know what behavior you accept in relationships. If you let people walk over you, silence won't fix perception. Social proof. Quietly maintain a life that signals social value. Friends, activities, achievements, emotional regulation. Learn to sit with discomfort. Meditation, journaling, or therapy are practical tools. Skill development. Read. Practice conversation skills. Pursue interests that make you more interesting. If no contact becomes a passive countdown, you lose. If it becomes active transformation, you win regardless of the outcome. Part 7. Red flags. When not to re-enter, sometimes silence should remain silence. Don't break it if she's clearly moved on or has begun a new relationship. Respect that. Your last interactions were abusive or manipulative. Don't re-engage. Do the internal work first. You're trying to get closure because you can't accept reality. Closure sometimes comes from acceptance, not replaying the past. Your only reason is, I want to feel better. That's self-soothing, not strategy. Respect her boundaries and your own dignity. Part 8. Case studies. Short. Realistic examples. Case 1. 2 weeks of silence after an argument. She comments on your social post. Funny? That place still exists? Action. Light reply referencing the memory. Yeah, still there. Brings back memories. You. Result opens a relaxed exchange. No therapy talk, no apology salvo. Curiosity reintroduced. Case 2. Long silence after you left emotionally volatile messages. She's distant, then posts a story about moving on. Action. Don't reply. Use the moment to change your behavior and reputation through consistent, low-drama presence elsewhere. Result. Unless you fundamentally change, re-entry will only reopen old wounds. Case 3. She reaches out through mutual friends asking about you. Action. Don't escalate publicly. Use the friend to re-establish a small neutral line of contact. Then respond in person if possible. Result. Controlled re-entry, less emotional theater. Part 9. How to read microsignals. Like a pro, microsignals matter because they are honest. Big declarations are often strategic. Microsignals reveal curiosity, signals that mean something. Change in tone from cold to warm, increased reaction. Frequency to your posts. Initiating. Contact via indirect channels. Asking about mutual friends or shared experiences. Sharing inside jokes or personal memories, how to interpret them. One small sign. Observe, don't overplay. 2 consistent signs. Prepare to re-enter lightly. Multiple signs over time. You have a real window. Important. Don't manufacture signals. If you're constantly trying to force engagement, that will be detected. Part 10. Avoiding desperation. Disguised as confidence, desperation often pretends to be confidence. Here's how to tell the difference. Desperation looks like overcompensating messages, long, rehearsed. Too frequent contact after a small signal. Over-explaining and confessing before rapport is restored. Real confidence looks like short, proportionate replies, minimal explanation, invitations to shared experiences, not emotional unloads. Quick internal checklist before you message, am I doing this to soothe my ego? Don't. Is there a genuine behavioral signal? If not, wait, can I be calm and composed? If not, work on yourself first. Part 11. When re-entry fails, how to react if she doesn't respond. Don't escalate. Escalation does not create attraction. It creates pressure. The correct reaction is stop, don't double text, reassess. Was there a real trigger? If not, you acted prematurely. Learn. What was the last interaction like? Did you leave value? Move on. Continue building your life. Reattempt only if new signals appear. If she responds negatively, accept it. You can apologize succinctly if appropriate, but don't plead. Respect her agency. Part 12. Real talk. This won't work. Every time. And that's okay. No strategy guarantees results. Humans have free will. You will sometimes lose opportunities despite perfect timing. That's life. The point isn't to control outcomes. It's to increase probability while preserving dignity. If you don't get the result you want, reflect, adjust, grow. The goal is not to manipulate emotions. It's to act with awareness, respect, and emotional strength. Part 13. Scripts and examples you can use. Short, practical lines. Use these as templates only. Personalize them. Re-entry after a curious comment. Had no idea you noticed that. Funny memory. How have you been? Re-entry after a warm reaction. Nice to see you pop up. Hope you've been well. How's life? Invitation after mutual interest. Hey, I'm checking out place event this weekend. You in? Neutral check-in after a small signal. Good to hear from you. Been busy with activity. What's new with you? If she asks a heavy question, appreciate you asking. I'd prefer to talk in person, when you're comfortable. Avoid anything remorseful or pleading. Part 14. Closing. The rule that changes. Everything. Here's the one rule to tattoo into your head. Break silence only when the signal is real. Your behavior before the silence left room for curiosity, and you're re-entering from a place of calm competence, not need. Everything else is noise. Everything else is ego. If you master this, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. That makes you someone who is seen, not someone who begs to be noticed. Part 15. Final challenge to the viewer. Call to action. I want you to do 3 things. Reflect. Where did you break silence for the wrong reasons? Be honest. Act. Use one of the short scripts above the next time you see a legitimate trigger. Share. Comment below with one example. One moment where you broke silence and it worked. Or where it failed and what you learned. I read every comment and respond to those who show they're ready to learn. Not just rant epilogue. The bigger truth. If you're still struggling after all of this, remember the deeper truth. Attraction is as much about who you are as what you say. You can't force someone to be curious, but you can create a life that invites curiosity. The discipline to wait, the humility to learn, and the courage to grow, those are the things that actually change outcomes. Stop blaming external factors. Start building an internal standard. Stop whining about silence. Make your silence meaningful. If you want, I can keep expanding this into concrete weekly exercises, a 30-day no-contact growth plan, daily prompts, message templates for specific situations, and mini mental challenges to strengthen emotional resilience. Say yes, give me the plan, and I'll write the entire program in detail for you right now.